Hi everyone, it's Rishma from OT for Life. Hope you're all doing well. I know it's been a while since I've done one of my videos. What I wanted to talk today about is I'm going to call this talk All Aboard because I'm going to use the analogy of boarding a train. So hopefully all of you have heard the phrase train of thought, right? I can't get out of this train of thought. You need to get out of your train of thought. And so I just really wanted to talk about the fact that oftentimes we will board a particular train of thought. And then once we're on that train, it can be very difficult to get off that train of thought. So, what I wanted to do today is actually go through two different trains of thought so that you can have a sense of, what it's like if you board one and the impact that it can have and actually is having on all of us, because this is real life and this is something that we all go through, versus if we choose to board a different train and what impact that might have on us. So I typically use the example of suppose you go to the mall, and I know right now with COVID, we shouldn't be at the malls, right? But I'm just using it as an example. So suppose you go to the mall, you see your friend Amara, and you haven't seen Amara in quite some time. You make eye contact with Amara, you smile and wave to Amara, but Amara turns and walks in the opposite direction. So you kind of have a choice in terms of, okay, what are your thoughts about this particular situation? So most of us board the train where we start to think thoughts such as, what's wrong with her? Why that was so rude? Like, what have I done to her? Did I do something wrong? We board that kind of train, and those are the thoughts we have. So if we follow that train, if we're having thoughts like those, then typically the emotions that go along with having thoughts like those are, we might feel anger, we might feel resentment, we might feel anxiety, right? Like, what did I do? Why is she upset with me? We might feel confusion. I haven't seen her. I don't think I've done anything to, hurt her feelings or whatever, so I really don't know what's going on. When we feel those emotions, we will also then start to experience physical sensations in our body. So our heart might start beating faster. We might get sweaty. We might get the shakes. We might get a dry mouth. We might get an instant headache, right? These are all signs that we're responding to stress, right? Because we've talked about it in the previous videos. I want to actually follow this train all the way, because you might think that it stops at how we feel and how it presents in our body. But I also want to take it all the way to what choices and behaviors and actions do we take as a result of that, of those initial thoughts, right? So if we think that she's upset with us, we don't know why, we don't know what her problem is, we're feeling negative emotions, we are experiencing the stress response physically in our body, typically the actions we might take as a result is, the next time we see Amara, we may end up ignoring her, possibly, right? To sort of give her like a taste of her own medicine. Now, think for a minute though, in order to be able to remember to treat her that way the next time we see her, we have to actually hold on to this particular event and keep it in our minds and not forget about it, right? Which I think we typically call holding a grudge, right? We hold on to a negative experience about someone or negative feelings about someone. We hold on to that. Or another action we might take is we may actually confront Amara and say, like, what is your problem? How rude. Or we may just kind of go, I never really liked her anyway, so whatever, I'm done with her, right? So that's the first train that we boarded, which in majority is the train that most of us would board, because it's human nature to actually have assumptions of other people that are more negative. just because it protects us. So it's just a protective factor. But let's now think about another train that we may be able to board when we're faced with this situation of Amara looking at us, seeing us, but then turning away and walking in the other direction. What other thoughts could we possibly have about that? Well, we could possibly think, I wonder if maybe she didn't see me. I wonder if maybe she needs glasses. I wonder if maybe she's preoccupied, or, I hope she's all right. I hope she's not sick. I hope maybe she's on her way to a job interview. Maybe she's in a rush or something like that, right? So when we have those kinds of thoughts, and if we follow it along, the emotions that come with having those kinds of thoughts are maybe just some concern, maybe a little bit of curiosity, right? Really, that's kind of all we're feeling in terms of emotion. And then in terms of what those emotions might cause us to feel physically, well, I mean, when you're feeling curiosity or you're feeling concern, you're not responding to stress. So there is no cortisol that's going to be released. We're not going to feel that, fast heartbeat or the sweatiness or any of those things. So for the most part, there wouldn't be any physical changes if we are having those thoughts and feeling a little bit of concern about Amara. And then let's take it one step further. So what behaviors and actions might we choose as a result? And if we're going with the thoughts of, well, maybe she's just, something else is going on, maybe, it really has nothing to do with me, that kind of a thing, we most likely would probably reach out to her, either just kind of send her a text and say, oh, hey, I'm pretty sure I saw you at the mall, but, you look like you were in a rush or whatever, so I hope everything's okay. Just wanted to reach out and say hi. Or maybe the next time we see her, we would say that, like, oh, I saw you at the mall, and, you kind of seemed like you were in a bit of a daze or in a rush. I hope you're okay. So do you see the differences between the two trains, right? And it all starts with the initial thought that we choose to have about a particular situation or scenario, right? And so in every given situation that we find ourselves in, we actually have the choice as to how we want to think about it and what train we want to board. Because depending on which train, it will actually lead us to different outcomes. And the outcomes not only can be quite dangerous for us in terms of just our own health, our emotional health, our physical health, but also dangerous in terms of the effect that it can have on our relationships with other people, right? And I think that a lot of what causes us stress has to do with assumptions we may have of someone, judgments we might make about someone, and, decisions that we have sort of made in our minds that really impact the quality of the relationship that we have with people. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you have a little bit of a better understanding in terms of, in any given situation, you do have that choice, that option to decide which train you'd like to board, and that, you can actually stop yourself and choose, right? Like, okay, so I could think these things, but I could also think these things. So which way do I want to go here, right? And that's what I typically found myself doing early on in this process for myself, was stopping myself and choosing, right? This is the train that I would like to board. So I'm going to let go of these thoughts and assumptions and judgments, and I'm actually going to go this way. And then eventually you don't even consider the other train. Eventually it just becomes who you are when you're faced with a particular situation, and you just kind of go, yeah, I'd rather just give that person the benefit of the doubt, and I'd rather just think that maybe it has nothing to do with me. Because I think that human nature is everything has to do with us, and that's not being, facetious, but, we are quite egocentric, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's actually, it can really impact us, because everything that happens around us, we have a tendency to believe that it's because of us. So if someone's not in a good mood, we believe that maybe we did something to not, put them in a bad mood or that kind of thing. So, I think that if we can detach from that a little bit, and just sort of let things be. And if someone's in a bad mood, we can certainly, ask if they're okay. Is there anything we can do to help? But try not to internalize it and try not to make the assumption that it has to do with us. Because actually, most of the time, it doesn't. It doesn't have anything to do with us. Right? So we would save ourselves a lot of angst and a lot of tension in relationships if we just kind of chilled out a little bit and just allowed ourselves to just give the other person a benefit of the doubt. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. I'm always happy to talk to anyone. Stay safe. I know it's kind of a difficult time right now, so stay safe, and until the next time. Okay, bye.